When one man was waiting for his cow's delivery, his cow delivered twins. A Bama farmer from Sut Legolas outside Mahiking in the northwest was very surprised. Bos Mora cattle are resilient when it comes to lasting long periods of time. They don't lose condition as easily when the seasons change, and it is rare for them to give birth to twins. Malthus Klahabani is the owner and breeder of this unique breed. To him, having two healthy children is a blessing for his wife, Bons Mara, who has given birth to two healthy children. I believe it is a blessing from God for one of the cattle to have two calves, she says. And I'm overjoyed to see that this is actually happening and perhaps in the future. It has never happened in the past. Even though I grew up on a farm, this is something I've never witnessed before. It was the first time I had ever seen something like this. My cattle having two young calves, Klahabani explains. According to Associate Professor of Animal Sciences Paul Liu, there is a less than 10% likelihood that beef cows run in the wild will produce twins. You will find that approximately 4 and 8% of animals will give birth to twins depending on the breed. In addition, I believe it is present in most breeds, including Nguni cattle, and it is also present in cattle that have been chosen for its says Lubao. However, he believes that the prevalence of twins may increase in the near future, as some farmers have begun to use artificial insemination to meet the need for meat. It is not a common occurrence. It is something that we have done in the past in modest amounts where we actually feed the animals, which we refer to as flush feeding. And in that aspect, the dose will generate twins just as the boar goat will produce twins when given, and we make the selection. So that is something that will occur in beef cattle because in the next 30 years, we will have to double meat production in order to satisfy the protein requirements of our growing population. Explains Lubao, if the twins are male and female, according to Professor Lubao, the male is usually fertile while the female is infertile. It's strange that a cow can give birth to twins, but the strangest is cow defies odds and gives birth to 4 cows in big shock to cattle farmers raising beef cattle. David and Julie Ingram were taken aback when their purebred Hereford calved quadruplets on their property. The multiple delivery occurred in May, and it was the second time the cow had become pregnant on their property in Bonning, East Gippsland since the couple had purchased it. She gave birth to twins the previous year. I told Julie the night before she caved that there'd be a set of twins there tonight. Mr. Ingram recalled it turned out to be true. However, when we went down the next day, we counted 1, then 2, then 3, and then, oh, there are 4, he said. The pair is well versed in the phenomenon of multiple births, having recorded 12 sets of twins on their property in 2018 and 8 further sets so far this year. They were, however, taken aback by the appearance of quadruplets after they prepared themselves for the cow to reproduce twins as she had in the past. We have a small paddock close to the home with decent feed, and we just let her roam around there on her own, since we are very sure that she have more than one, said Ms. Ingram. It's a first for me. I've never heard of somebody having 4. The Ingrams were concerned when 2 heifers and 2 bull calves were born prematurely in May, resulting in 2 heifers and 2 bull calves that were 3 to 4 weeks preterm. According to Mr. Ingram, we were shocked that she had really fed 2 of them as well as cleaned and mothered the 4 of them. Ms. Ingram stated that they were well aware that the calves would perish if left outside overnight, so we brought them all up to the house and stored them in the shed. Leaving her close by, she explained it was agreed by the Ingrams to leave the strongest calf with her mother and to take in the remaining 3 calves as potties, which means they would be hand-reared to give them the best chance of survival. They allowed the other heifer calf to be returned to her mother around a week later. 3 of them were kept under observation in a secluded paddock for 6 weeks before being released into the rest of the herd. Unfortunately, the 2 bull calves had had issues during their delivery process, which resulted in their being euthanized. What are the possibilities of that happening? Veterinarian Peter Alexander, who has been practicing in the Bega Valley for more than 40 years, was intrigued by the quadruple birth and decided to find out more about it. According to Dr. Alexander, I'd have to go up it in the Guinness Book of Records or something.
Also, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these animal stories every day. Now, back to the story.
I would have seen triplets a couple of times, but 4 would have been quiet, despite the fact that Dr. Alexander has previously heard of cows giving birth to quadruplets. He stated that it was considerably more frequent for cows to give birth to single calves, because a cow will often only ovulate one egg at a time. He explained there is only truly one possibility of getting one calf. This would indicate that she is ovulated for eggs rather than one, says the doctor. His reasoning for this was that many births were less desirable because it was a more difficult pregnancy for the cow and might significantly increase the danger of premature birth. According to Dr. Alexander, not all cows carrying twins will calve prematurely, but if there are 3 or 4 cows aboard, there is a significantly increased incidence of premature calves. They may appear to be healthy, but they frequently have immature lungs that are unable to keep up with their demand. Dr. Alexander was also concerned about whether or not the offspring would be fruitful if they survived. According to Dr. Alexander, there's a small likelihood that the men in question are what the British called free martins. According to the veterinarian, some heifers who are born as twins with bull cows have an extremely primitive reproductive tract and are unable to bear children. It would be interesting to see if the same thing applies to them as well, says the veterinarian. The Ingrams' #1 priority is to keep their cows fertile. They are all too familiar with the death of calves within a short period of time after birth, owing to a variety of issues, including preterm. According to Mr. Ingram, it's always ideal to mark 100% of calves, but it doesn't happen very often. But a couple sets of twins can help you get closer to that goal. Despite the fact that their cow appears to have beaten all chances, both farmers are hoping to concentrate on her health in order to ensure that she can reproduce in the long run. Ms. Ingram's cow is 4 years old and has given birth to 6 calves, according to Mr. Ingram. I think she's doing very well, he says of the cow. Finally, we'll dazzle you with the story of twin sisters who gave birth to twin and triplet calendar. A County Mayo farmer has discovered that twin Belgian Blue Cross heifers he purchased for foster suckler cows have turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Joe Ryan of Castle, Rebane Clare, Morris County, Mayo purchased the animals as suck calves from renowned dairy farmer Matty Wayne in the spring of 2018. He'd also purchased 2 more animals from Ho. The following is what Ryan said in an interview with That's. If any of my own sucker cows lose calves, Matty is the first person I call. The quality, range, and health state of his calves, as well as the fact that they're raised to the best possible standards, have left me really satisfied. Twins and triplets are a type of multiple fast forwards, slightly over 2 years, and the heifers have grown up to become moms on the 80-cow suckler farm, which also has up to 1,200 hoggets on the premise. 3 bull calves were born just over 1 week apart to a pair of twins, a bull and a heifer calf, and the females have continued the multiples legacy by giving birth to a pair of triplets, 3 bull calves just over 1 week apart. The heifer that produced triplets was expected to have twins, while her sister was expected to have only 1 calf, according to the farmer. I synchronized the heifers with my limousine bull in January, and they ran with him throughout. Upon the recommendation of my veterinary practitioner, I aired both heifers, with the one that had the triplets being aired to an Abrax sire. A suckler farmer believes that the triplets are most likely Abrax crosses based on their appearance and demeanor. It is estimated that the chances of a cow having triplets are 150,000 to 1, but the chances of a cow having 3 owls of the same sex are 400,000 to 1, according to some estimates. Ryan described the arrival of the triplets as follows. I was observing her as she began calving, and when I handled her, I discovered that the first calf was presented appropriately, despite the fact that he had knuckling in his first joint. When I had their feet straightened up, I utilized the caving jack to get the first calf through the doorway. After that, I went in quest of a second one, but all I could feel was a tangle of tails and legs. I got the 2 legs out the calf because it was coming backwards, which felt correct, and I also managed to deliver him as well, having been unsure if it was a cause of breech birth or the chance of another calf. I investigated again and discovered that there was in fact a 3rd calf who had been delivered backwards. My vet is happy with the progress my 3 calves have been making each day. All showed signs of a genetic defect called knuckling in their joints at birth and are showing considerable improvement already. He explained that all of the calves below are identical as they have the same mother. They have similar physical features such as appearance, size, and weight. All 5 calves are doing well, and their mothers, who gave birth to the triplets, are also in high spirits. Our farm has never seen triplets before, and all the cows on the farm have been excited about it.